All right, today we're going on a journey. We're diving deep into the heart of one of the world's oldest and largest trading hubs. This is a place where history isn't just something you read about. It's alive, it's buzzing, it's happening right now. We're off to the Grand Bazaar of Tabriz in Iran, a UNESCO World Heritage site that honestly feels more like a city than just a market.
Just take a look at this. What you're seeing isn't a single building. It's a sprawling city of brick domes and hidden courtyards. And this isn't some quiet museum. No, it's a living, breathing marketplace, and it just so happens to be the largest covered bazaar in the entire world. It's kind of hard to grasp the true scale from just one picture, so let's put a number on it.
Yup, that's right. The whole complex covers over 7 square kilometers. We're talking more than 5,500 shops all woven together in this incredible labyrinth of corridors and halls. It is without a doubt a place where you can and you absolutely should get lost.
Now, to really get what the Tabriz Bazaar is all about, you have to stop thinking of it as just a market. It's so much more than that. It's really an entire ecosystem, a self-contained city with its own unique rhythm. You know, this quote just nails it. The bazaar isn't just about selling things. It's this beautiful, chaotic place where commerce, culture, and day-to-day life are all completely tangled up together. Every single handshake, every cup of tea, every conversation just adds another layer to its thousand-year-old story.
So, how in the world did this colossal place even come to be?
Well, its story is really the story of trade itself. It goes way, way back to one of the most legendary trade routes in all of history. For over 1,000 years, Tabriz was this vital crossroads, connecting the great empires of Asia and Europe. The bazaar really hit its first golden age back in the 13th century, when Tabriz was made a dynastic capital. Then, fast forward to the 16th century under the Safavids, and it just exploded, becoming one of the most important commercial centers on the planet. A status it's frankly never really lost.
Just think about that for a second. Marco Polo, the legendary Venetian explorer, literally wrote about this very bazaar in his journals back in the 13th century. When you walk through these halls, you are quite literally following in the footsteps of history.
Okay, so if we just dropped you into the middle of this 7-square-kilometer maze, how would you even start to make sense of it? Well, the key is the architecture. It's not random at all. There's actually a brilliant logic to the whole layout.
So first up, you have the raste. The easiest way to think of these is as the main streets of the bazaar. Each raste is a long corridor, and they're usually dedicated to a specific craft. So you might have the coppersmith's raste or the shoemaker's raste. They're basically the arteries of the entire complex.
Then you come across a Timcheh, and these are just spectacular. A Timcheh is a huge, domed hall, just a total masterpiece of intricate brickwork. These were like the high-security trading floors, reserved for the really valuable stuff. Think silks, jewels, and most famously, Persian carpets. And right here, this is the most famous one of all, the Timcheh Mozaffariyeh. I mean, look at it. This isn't just a market hall, it's practically a cathedral of commerce. For centuries, this has been the global epicenter for the hand-woven Tabriz carpet trade, and it still is today. And finally, you have the Sera, which you might also know as caravanserais. Think of these as the all-in-one hotels, warehouses, and offices for merchants traveling along the Silk Road. They were a safe place to rest your head, store your goods, and strike a deal.
These saras are almost always built around these beautiful open courtyards. They give you this quiet, sunlit escape from the endless hustle and bustle of the main corridors. They were the social and logistical hubs that really made that incredible long-distance trade even possible.
So, come on, let's take a quick walkthrough. We'd probably start in the Amir Bazaar, where all the golden jewelry is just glittering under the lights. From there, we'd wander into the Mozaffariyeh to gaze at those priceless carpets. Then, we'd follow the rhythmic sound of hammering to the Kuchekari Bazaar for amazing copperware. And finally, we'd just let our noses guide us to the Shazdeh Bazaar, an absolute paradise of saffron, spices, and sweet-dried apricots.
But like we've been saying, the bazaar was never, ever just about buying and selling. It was, and it still is, the social, cultural, and even the political heart of the city, all of it woven directly into its physical structure. Yeah, woven right into the fabric of the market, you find everything a community needs to thrive. You'll find the city's main Jame mosque for prayer, traditional tea houses for gossip and making deals, schools for learning, and even public bathhouses. It's a stage for huge cultural festivals like Nowruz, the Persian New Year, and for solemn religious ceremonies. It is a complete society, all living under one incredible roof.
And that influence went way beyond just commerce. The bazaars, the merchants, have always been this incredibly powerful force in society. During the Constitutional Revolution in the early 1900s, this bazaar was the nerve center for political debate, for resistance, and for funding the reformist movements that would go on to fundamentally shape the course of the entire nation's history.
So, what if you want to experience all of this living history for yourself? Well, we'll wrap this up with a few handy, practical tips for making the most of a visit. Okay, here are the key things to remember. Of course, you've got to look for carpets and spices. The absolute best time to go is in the morning, say between 9 and 11:30, to see it at its most lively. Just try to avoid Fridays, as a lot of the shops will be closed. And for our insider tips, don't be shy about bargaining. It's expected, it's part of the culture. Also, knowing a few words of Turkish will go a long way here. And hey, after all that walking, make sure you find a local spot to try the famous kebab Tabrizi. Trust me on that one.
And that really brings us to our final thought. In our age of one-click online shopping and sterile, air-conditioned malls, the Tabriz Bazaar just endures. It's not some dusty relic. It's a thriving economic engine and a cultural sanctuary. It reminds us that a market can be so much more than a place to buy things. It can be the very soul of a city. So what does its incredible resilience tell us about what we truly value in our own public spaces?